877-876-2455. And we're now going to head into the Zoom room and check in with our Tomas Menglotnya. Good morning, Tomas.
Good morning, Bree, Chris, Jason, Joser. Yes, as you saw in that report, federal help is on Saipan at least until December 14. They've administered about 136 patient courses of the monoclonal antibody treatment as a part of the National Disaster Medical System team. There was about 2 nurses, a paramedic, 2 physicians that are here taking care of the patients brought in for the MAB treatment. We're hearing that right now we have about a supply of 300 of those treatments and 500 more are on the way. And Bree, as you know, the last report we got with regards to the case count here in the CNMI was from December 5th. And even then, those numbers are actually reflecting tests done on December 3rd. So it's been a few days since we last received some data about the cases, which of course continue to rise as we are in the surge. We do know that there are more cases, but they have yet to be reported. We checked in with the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation this morning, asking them for more data from December 3rd onward to today, December 9th. And so we'll bring you the latest on that once we receive it. But we do want to share this clip from our visit to the alternate care site. So this is kind of the extension of the hospital at Canoa Resort, where for the first time, the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation CEO tells us that they are going to consider home quarantine for those who test positive. Of course, this is a big change given that they were so strict in saying, no, everyone needs to go to the facilities to quarantine after they test positive.
Oh, you mean isolate?
Here's what Esther made say yesterday.
Being looked at as an option?
Yes, absolutely. It is definitely being looked at as an option. The numbers are increasing. It's obvious. And for us, I mean, again, so here's what really worries me and it makes me nervous, okay? So what really worries me is when individuals get tested, there's a long line of people testing, right? But here's what's happening. Once they test, they go home, they go out and hang out with family and friends, and they don't even know that they're positive. This is a lot of tests that we're processing. So it does take a while for the results to come out. But you don't, in the meantime, while you're getting tested, don't try to spread it. Act as if you got it. Keep your mask on because you don't know if you got it. And when you do finally get the information that you got it, you don't want to go back and say, hey, was I hanging out with somebody already and I just learned that I got positive? Those are things that we don't want. We want to stop the spread. And the only way to do this, don't just go and get tested. Get tested and act as if you're positive so that you don't go spreading it to other people. What's happening is totally opposite. People get tested and then they go out and hang out with family members and more people are identified. I don't know what to say. And going back to the self-quarantine, that is the concern too, because everywhere in the world, when people are detected as positive, they can home quarantine. So those are things that are being considered right now because of the large number of positive cases. And because of the large number of positive cases. And
here in the CMI, as of today, there are about 37,993 people who are fully vaccinated. That brings the NMI's total vaccination rate to 89.6%. And also over 9,000 booster shots administered here in the NMI. And wanted to shift gears just a little bit. Late last night, we received news from the House Investigative Committee investigating the CNMI governor. The CNMI governor, through his legal counsel, objected to the subpoena issued by the House committee investigating him. His legal counsel cited 3 reasons. The first is the governor is immune from testimony and protected by executive privilege. The second is that the subpoena does not serve a legitimate legislative purpose. And the third and final reason is that the subpoena was not issued in line with CNMI law or House rules. That's what the CNMI governor's legal counsel says. In response to the office of the governor yesterday, the chair, Representative Selena Babauta, agreed to confer in a negotiation and accommodation process that she set at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. That will be public and we will be there to report on it. However, she says that they expect the governor to appear at 10:30 a.m. that same day to testify still in line with their subpoena. She told KUAM, quote, "If he doesn't appear as directed, the committee will take appropriate measures to include but not be limited to finding him in legislative contempt." She adds, "This is not a threat but a cautionary note to the governor and all other individuals who are subject to our lawful subpoena power." Of course, we reported on that November 8 letter, Governor Torres writing, "We cannot allow perpetual harassment and obstruction of the legislative branch onto the executive branch to be a norm." He added, "No governor has experienced this level of harassment and slander in the history of the CNMI." And so, Bree, that's just about 24 hours from now when they're supposed to meet and when the exact hearing is supposed to take place. They did say that the conference that they're going to have before the slated time of 10:30 for the testimony for both the governor and the police chief, Robert Guerrero, that's going to be open to the public. So we'll definitely bring you the latest on that when it happens in the morning tomorrow.
Is the press conference still on for tomorrow? Doesn't the governor have weekly Friday morning press conferences?
Yes, that's scheduled at 8 a.m. I believe so. We haven't gotten the invite yet, but usually it is at 8 o'clock in the morning, which means that he will probably have a packed morning if he's going to attend all of these meetings at 8, 9:30, and then 10:30 with regards to addressing the allegations. Obviously, that's probably one of the first questions we'll ask is, are you going to the meeting in about an hour or so from this press conference? Also, he's continuing his video series, taking to Facebook. We just reported on that the other day on his boating trips, which he says, are all within legal realms. So we'll see. It's not clear. I think it might just be his attorneys who show up at 9:30. And from what we're hearing, it's unlikely that he'll even show up at 10:30 for the hearing that he was subpoenaed for. But the chair also making clear, as they held his executive assistant, Francis de la Cruz, in contempt, that they are not going to probably hesitate to do that to him as well.
Wow.
Pretty interesting stuff.
I know. Since you've been there, it just seems like nonstop.
Yeah.
For you.
You okay though, Tomas?
Yeah.
Are you okay? How are you?
Yes, I am. Yeah, bringing the latest to people who and what they need to know. I mean, it's interesting. You're right. I mean, I think people might be experiencing some sort of information overload just with the cases and with the political firestorm that is here. I'm part of one of the CNMI COVID-19 information groups, and they actually decided to stop sharing the case counts every day with each other because it was bringing some anxiety and mental health issues as well. So, regardless, though, we will continue to report that, and we did ask this morning about more information with regards to the cases because the last report we did receive just reflects some of the cases on December 3rd. So,
yeah, that's 7 days. Yeah, that's 7 days ago, a week ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. And so, yeah, I mean, especially in our first surge, it is important to know. And I think as we've been reporting these numbers, right, they've been in sometimes the triple digits. And if you look at the dates, though, that span a particular amount of days. So if we do get a report, whenever that may be, today, tomorrow, or next month, it's going to be a big number because it's going to span all these days during this surge that we haven't heard.
I missed it, Tomas, but what's the reason for the delay?
We're hearing that it's a manpower issue. I believe that it's kind of one or two people sifting through this data. And so this is part of the reason why some of these teams are also going to come in and help. Stephanie Cornelli is no longer here as the epidemiologist. She left after a week or two. I believe she might be back in Guam. I think there's more help also to help analyze that data. It's, I think also on the flip side, not hearing about it every day might make you think there are no cases.
Yeah.
So we just want to make sure that we have the latest information, and we haven't received that just
what
yet.
Was it an issue
but
of?
we did. They continue to have the max vaccination clinics. The monoclonal antibody treatment is available, and more is on the way. So, in terms of that, we are hearing a lot about that. And yesterday, we were able to interview the federal team that is here. And tonight, we'll actually have more on primetime because they opened up a pharmacy at the alternate care site, and we got to talk to people at the pharmacy because they're in charge of administering all the different treatments to people who are in the isolation facilities. So they don't need to go to, it doesn't all have to come from the ER pharmacy here on Saipan.
I did want to follow up because I think we had this conversation before, and it may have been mentioned during one of the media briefings with Esther regarding the pill, the Merck pill.
Yes. Yeah, we haven't received anything on that yet, Bree, so I can't share much.
Okay.
But she did mention that in that first time that she talked about it, she mentioned that it should be here by the end of the year. But no new information as of that yet.
All right. Well, thank you, Tomas.
Yeah, and take some me time. Self-care is so important, my friend.
Will do, Chris. Thanks.
All right.
All right. Talk to you later.
Why is that funny?
That was more than 6 good minutes from Tomas.
Yeah, it was a good chunk of time there. Our regional coverage definitely a step up here with Tomas Maglotnia, who is live there in the CNMI. I feel bad for the guy because every time he goes back to the NMI, stuff just starts happening. Like he's good luck for the news cycle.
He was joking with me about that before because like in his travels, of course, he was finishing up grad school when he was at Stanford, and then he had a wonderful internship. He was at Good Morning America, like out in New York City. But he's like, man, everywhere I go, there seems to be a surge.
Yeah, don't come to Guam, Tomas.
Hey,
Maybe just relax there in Saipan for a little bit. Let's go ahead and do some more news with Uncle Ken Conception. It's brought to you by First Hawaiian